I'm Dr. John Gartner.
And I'm Dr. Harry Segal.
And welcome to this preview of Shrinking Trump.
This week's show is our truncated version because I'm going on vacation. But rather than leaving a blank spot on YouTube, we decided to do a briefer episode of our normally rich and exciting show. Right, John?
That's right. And actually, this show is a little more upbeat than usual because we're looking at the real signs that Trump is losing support among independents on inflation, on immigration, and in general. So the midterms for 2026 are starting to look very good. The cover-up is starting to look very clumsy, but underway, the Epstein cover-up. And finally, we did want to talk about more signs that Trump is, according to Ali Velshi, bat poop crazy. Now, you know, we're always complaining that the media is not showing how crazy Donald Trump is, because the way to really tell is to listen to him ramble and realize how completely loosely connected any of the thoughts are to one another. You know, it's sort of the opposite of a weave. It's more like an unweave. You're watching him come unwoven as the thoughts start to fragment. But Ali Velshi did a great job here. It's 2 minutes, actually, of him recounting a Trump press conference and essentially showing you how he's going from one loose association to another. He calls him bat poop crazy.
Let's see how he does. Velshi is always really good, so let's see what he does.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wow. I'm not going to say any more words until my executive producer puts on the banner next to me. That was bat poop crazy. Just not gonna. That was crazy. I took lots of notes. This is in no particular order. Windmills are killing us. 7 million people died in Rwanda, but I ended that. The Rwanda genocide ended in 1994. Energy needs no subsidy. America subsidizes energy to a great degree. Windmills are, windmills are killing us. They're the most expensive form of energy. He's going to have a deal with the EU in an hour. He's not in a good mood. He said that. He said there's not going to be a deal really with the EU. He said very specifically, he said, mostly I'm just going to charge tariffs. It's not really a deal per se. People are just going to pay tariffs. He went on for a little while about a ballroom and how they don't have a nice ballroom in the White House because they've never had a developer in charge of the White House. But now he just built a beautiful ballroom and he could just drop it into the White House, and that's going to be fantastic. Wow. We've got a lot of steel and aluminum plants being built in the United States. We've got a lot of automotive plants being built in the United States. I can't even read my own writing. Asked about people starving in Gaza. He seems very upset that no one has thanked him for the food that they provided. He said that Iran is being very nasty with its mouth. He did say he gave 2 pieces of news. He said that the United States is going to do more for Gaza, and that he talked to Benjamin Netanyahu. Those are the only 2 pieces of news that I was able to glean from that whole thing. He also said we have a lot of con jobs going on, which I think might be a piece of truth as well, but I don't know what he was actually referring to.
Iran is being nasty with its mouth?
Yeah, that was one of the ones that stuck out with me also. But Harry, he's claiming he stopped the Rwandan genocide.
Unbelievable.
No, but I mean, this is what I mean about real dementia.
Right. We talked about this last week about confabulation when he claimed that Ted Kaczynski was a student of his uncle's at MIT, and Kaczynski didn't go to MIT, and his uncle died before Kaczynski was revealed as the Unabomber. And Trump described that story with the same kind of confidence, right? And I'm sure he made when talking about Rwanda. And here's Velshi, you know, just going at it. But where's everybody else?
Right. I mean, I love the fact that he says, look, I'm not even going to keep talking until you put on the Chiron bat poop crazy, which they did not do. And he did continue to speak. But in other words, he's sort of saying, damn it, this is the breaking news. This is the breaking news. He's bat poop crazy. My God. He's sort of like, it's sort of like in The Emperor's New Clothes, if somebody else, he really is naked. But people just kept acting like he wasn't. It didn't actually in the fable, right? When one person finally says it, everyone goes, "Oh yeah, I mean, I saw it too, but I thought maybe it was just me," or I didn't have the courage to speak up. Now here it's like, no, he's actually displaying it and he's calling it out, and we're just moving on. But I wanted to give him credit for illustrating the bat poop crazy.
Yes. It's pretty cool. I'm very happy about it. I'm glad you showed it, Sean. It's really cool.
There were a lot more optimistic signs we saw this week.
Yes.
And you wanted to start with what has been going on in the polls with independents. Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have been watching CNN, but they have a new young pollster who's now the senior pollster or something, I think, on the network, named Harry Denton. And he did a really nice job in explaining what's been happening to Trump's popularity.
We are standing by for the president to depart the White House. One would think he will face questions about all the Jeffrey Epstein developments. They have cast a shadow a bit the last few weeks over the administration. But this morning, the president kind of faces a different problem among a key voting group. CNN's chief data analyst, Harry Enton, is with us this morning. What group are we talking about, Harry?
We are talking about independents, Mr. Berman. I will say this is the biggest warning sign, the biggest danger sign for President Trump in his second term so far. Why is that? Because it does not appear that there is a bottom to which Donald's support can't fall to. What are we talking about? Trump's net approval rating with independents. There was all this hubbub about Gallup that came out this past week. You see, back in January, it was minus 2 points. Now it's minus 35 points. But what's important here is Gallup is largely matching the average. Back in January, in the average, Trump's net approval rating with independents was minus 3. Look at where it's fallen to now, minus 29 points. That is a drop of over 25 points with the key part of the electorate. If you're not winning among independents, you're probably not winning overall. And when your net approval rating's minus 29 points, you're definitely not winning overall when you're that low with independents.
It's just the size of the drop. It's staggering.
It's huge.
Okay, so how does this compare historically?
Yeah, we were talking about Trump's overall approval rating, that it was the second worst overall. But we look among independents, it is the worst on record at this point. My goodness gracious, worst net approval ratings ever 6 months in among independents. Last time around, Trump broke the all-time record at minus 23 points. He is even lower than that now at minus 29 points. He has broken his own record for the worst on record. As I said at the beginning, there appears to be no fall, and Trump is certainly falling through that floor.
So during the Biden administration, I think there was a lot of thinking that maybe enough focus wasn't being paid to the effect that inflation had on people's thinking. And it may very well be that inflation's playing a bigger role in opinions than we recognize.
Yeah, so inflation in my mind was what cost Joe Biden the presidency more than any other factor, and it brought him down. But guess what? Donald Trump at this point, his net approval rating on inflation among independents, it's actually worse than Biden's was a year ago. Biden was way, way underwater at minus 38 points. But look at Trump and the average of polls on inflation. Oh my goodness gracious, minus 45 points. I never thought I'd see the day, especially this early on in the Trump administration. The issue that in large part got him elected is at this point the issue more so than any other that is dragging him down. If this is what we have on midterm day come 2026, I can promise you this. The Republican majority in the House, you can wave adios amigos, goodbye to it, because Republicans, simply put, can't win with this number.
Makes me happy.
Yeah, I love this guy. He's very he takes the numbers and he really makes them feel alive, and he really says what they're saying, and that is extraordinarily encouraging.
He's sort of a combination of Ron Brownstein and Jerry Lewis. He's got Harry Enton. I got his name wrong. Harry Enton. I really like him, and he's a good methodologist. He looks at the aggregates and he puts it together. These are really warning signs. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is really bad. And I mean, look at that. And he's absolutely right. If these numbers hold, Trump's overall approval rating has now dropped to 37%. That's kind of where Biden was for 4 years. It's only 6 months. And I have to tell you, and to the audience, look, I've been really down the last few episodes. You know, John has convinced me that we're all going to die and democracy is over. And it may be. Who knows? But this is really inspiring because it's reminding me that Trump lost the country the last time he was president. His performance during the pandemic is why he lost. Plain and simple. When the public didn't trust him, what we're seeing, and we're going to get to this, I'll let John introduce the clips, but what we're seeing with the Epstein case is something similar. Because independents don't think he's telling the truth. He's kind of losing hold. And when Trump loses his popularity, he gets angry and he loses more. That's what happens. I think, though, that what's terrible is that in those 4 years during Biden, when no one was doing anything and thinking he was taken care of by being indicted, Trump had a comeback where he somehow got everyone to forget that they had lost faith in him. And I think it's happening again.
Yeah. I think our hopes for winning back the House in 2026, you know, what he said, well, they can just wave their House majority bye-bye if with these numbers.
So don't just watch the preview, watch the real show. It's Shrinking Trump. We stream on Fridays at 3 p.m. on the Really American Network. That is a channel on YouTube. You can find it very easily. We stream on Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and after that, you can watch it at your leisure. You can download it, and you can listen to it as an audio podcast on Spotify and Apple Music and wherever you get your podcast. So watch the whole show. Hope to see you there. Yes.
And this week, you can see a compendium of our end of show comedy bits that we've used as filler since we only did a partial show. So if you like to laugh at dark things, tune in.
Not to mention John's dancing. Take care.
If you like the way Elaine dances, you'll love the way we dance on Shrinking Trump.
Have a good week. Hope to see you on Shrinking Trump this Friday.
Bye-bye.